Okay, this is just hilarious. That's a lot of videos. And guess who's gonna add another one? Oh, this is gonna be a fun one. Hey, wait a minute. Technically, I reported that more than 19 hours ago, just saying. If anything, you're on notice, Sports Card Radio. You're on notice. Anywho, let's talk about it. But first, roll that intro. Hey Gengar gang, what is going on? My name is Ryan, this is the Analytic Gengar, and welcome to another video. Well, if it isn't that time of day when I get to tell you about how Pwcc is in hot water yet again. Oh joy, oh fun, oh wonder. Let's get started. So, I was originally going to compile for you all the photos, all the details, all the screenshots, blah blah blah. But our good friends at Cardlines already made a phenomenal article about it in, I don't know, the past 24 hours. So I figured the best thing to do was show you the article, walk through it, and then I'll give my own thoughts, opinions along the way. So without further ado, make sure to go check out the article, which will be linked down below. And with all that said, let's go ahead and get started. So, you should be hearing a lot about the Pwcc shill bidding scandal. I guess that's what it's being called officially now. So, just in case no one knows, Pwcc is one of the biggest, and I genuinely mean this, the biggest sellers on eBay. Over, reportedly, $150 million in product, primarily trading cards on eBay in the last year. Now, that is big news, because whenever you type their name in, or whenever you type in the name of anything related to a trading card, there is likely a graded trading card being listed by Pwcc on the eBay platform. And that is not a coincidence. They are huge, guys. We cannot understate how big Pwcc is, and we'll get into the article and the reasons why eBay was slow to do this a little bit later on in the article, but Pwcc is huge. That's the context you need to know going into this, and that's why people are making such a big deal about it. So, with all that said, the first step in this drama begins on August 17th, 2021, which at the time this video is released will approximately be 2 days ago. So, for many fans of the channel, you know that I usually don't do videos so immediately thereafter, but this was just too funny an opportunity to pass up, especially if you saw my video about that time PSA and Pwcc got subpoenaed by the FBI a few weeks ago at this point. So this could not have happened at a more ironically hilarious time, which is why I immediately wanted to jump on the opportunity to give my own 2 cents on the topic as well, especially coming off of that video, which ironically only helps put Pwcc in the proper light for anybody who's consistently checking out my videos. So, on the 17th, eBay goes ahead and says, hey, Pwcc has been encouraging or engaged in shill bidding, which is prohibited on the eBay platform. As a result, we are banning Pwcc from our site here forward. So you're not allowed to sell Pwcc. Sorry, go suck an egg. So here is the actual eBay email/message that was sent to certain individuals on the platform. To my understanding, you needed to have purchased something from Pwcc in the past 6 months or so, and you would have received this message, and as a result you'll actually even be contacted by eBay support in order to make any necessary amends, etc., as it comes down to the financial ramifications of the shill bidding. So that is how that went. Now, ever since the news broke, obviously the community has been set ablaze. There are many different reasons, but again, if I could put it into my own certain language, Pwcc is huge. They sell probably more cards than any one seller sells on the eBay platform, and as a result of that, they are not considered small in any meaningful capacity. I don't know if it's fair to do this, but I would liken them to a Leonhardt plus a Pokerev plus a TCA in terms of scale and size from a YouTube analogy type of standpoint. They are gigantic. The thing is that although they are similar in size and scale, the integrity on PWCC's side is simply not there, and that is really what has caused such a rapid and almost violent reaction to have occurred from eBay, because no one really saw this coming. Again, PWCC being so large and selling so many cards means that eBay makes a lot of money off them. And so it comes as a surprise to everyone that eBay would be so quick to say, hey babe, can't do this anymore, sorry. So there is that. And yeah, that's where we currently find ourselves. Now, card lines, and based off the previous article that I had done on the subpoena by the FBI topic, they very clearly made it clear they don't like PWCC. So they call it a pretty amazing move. If you look for any high-end or medium-end cards on eBay, PWCC will likely be the first thing you see. And while eBay is explaining the move as part of their commitment to collectors and transparency, that's somewhat disingenuous. There have been many complaints. They were under investigation for card trimming. That's the video from the other week, which you should go check out if you haven't already. And then, in addition, specific accusations of shill bidding have been bandied at PWCC for at least half a decade, many of those on the blowout card forums. So, all things considered, PWCC's name was not very high integrity or very, clean and shiny and prestigious going into this event. So again, it's almost a pretty shocking scenario, because we know eBay wants their money but can't have their bad name. But again, we'll get into why this could be playing out the way it is in just a little bit. Next up, and this is the part that I actually made a YouTube post about, but PWCC actually clapped back. So, the accused company drafted a response relatively quickly, and within a few hours they sent the following response. Again, here's the actual image of the email/message you would have received, but the first sentence reads, PWCC was shocked to see eBay's email today stating that unidentified individuals associated with PWCC engaged in shill bidding. Why yes, PWCC, you were probably shocked. More shocked than I was when I found out Alina Lopez was a solar panel technician before she started her other, probably more infamous second career. Now, one thing to note about this particular statement is that there is also this whole tidbit about the PWCC is considering all available legal options in response to the defamatory press release and its bad faith action to restrict PWCC's privileges on eBay. To briefly cover the legality of the situation, they base this entirely on the idea of libel. You can't write something inherently wrong about someone purely to defame them or to destroy them. There's also then the idea PWCC can claim damages for against eBay. Basically, since you made this announcement, we haven't been able to sell anything or our business has been destroyed, and you are the sole reason that this happened because you made a public announcement on your forum, on your site and your system, and as a result, it's impaired our ability to do business. And they may be able to claim that has caused them monetary losses, which they can then claim as damages against eBay. So, the legality of that, I won't really speculate much on, but I have a feeling it's not going to hold much water, especially given how poorly PWCC's reputation has been touted by many different individuals. Much of that could be screenshotted and used as evidence in a court of law, especially for the fact that the FBI, a federal agency, actually even subpoenaed this company in the past regarding fraudulent or, at a minimum, less than integral trading card transactions. So, at a high level, I don't think it's going to hold water, but then again, I'm not a lawyer, so hey, we're certainly going to see as this stuff plays out. Now, you can pause and read the rest of the thing. The next part is their move to a new site. So, PWCC became the world's premier site for the sale of trading cards using eBay's platform. Now, that is an important thing to note. They used eBay as any other seller would use eBay to sell their stuff. Just so happens PWCC didn't have their own site, so they just used eBay, but since they're so large, they became a pretty grandiose part of eBay's master platform. Thing is that they accuse eBay, now sort of flipping the script, and that's why I say the tea is so hot, because eBay's increasingly competing interest has prompted PWCC to begin the process of moving on. So today's unilateral action by eBay simply hastens PWCC's move to its new platform. So what is that new platform, you ask? Well, it's going to be, PWCC's own auction website. And they said the August premiere auction will still close on August 21st, and the September auction is scheduled to launch on September 1st. I have a feeling they're mentioning this because they're unsure of whether or not they can launch their own site and completely, deliver a polished experience by the time September comes around. So it may be a situation where only August finishes on eBay and September launches on their own website, or it may be a situation where maybe if they're allowed to, contractually, they may be able to finish the September listings on eBay, but after that, you should expect to see everything live for October. So PWCC is excited for the future, blah-de-blah-de-blah. Next up, and perhaps more importantly, why did eBay make this move? Well, the response by PWCC confirms a persistent rumor that basically PWCC was planning on leaving eBay and starting their own selling platform. For anybody who's never sold on eBay, eBay takes a pretty significant cut of your money when you sell something, and obviously that's probably rightfully so because eBay helps connect you with millions of buyers across the entire world, and that, can help any business increase its global reach. So there is a motivation for any business to find a way to get around those fees by selling on their own website. Now, this is where we see the true scale of PWCC. So with PWCC now leaving eBay, eBay might have lost its motive to protect PWCC. It's likely, by some estimates, that PWCC alone accounts for somewhere between 1 to 2% of eBay's revenue. Now let's just stop and think about that for a minute. Think of all of the different sellers that might exist on the eBay platform, not to mention all of the local individuals who might be selling something one-off. One company alone is estimated to contribute 1 to 2% of that revenue. So that's a large number. And again, I have stressed this repeatedly in the video, but you got to think about it that way. That's one company contributing a massive amount of money to eBay's bottom line. And the fact that PWCC was planning on leaving and going on their own platform now means that 1 to 2% of revenue is now missing from eBay's bottom line. In case anybody doesn't realize yet what I'm saying, PWCC is leaving, and eBay might have just said, okay, we're just going to completely destroy and tarnish their reputation by bringing to light things that had previously we had ignored, because hey, if they're leaving, we're going to screw them on their way out. So that's one way to think about why this may have happened. Now, the article hints at this, many other individuals are hinting at this, and it seems like a pretty clear and calculated move. But obviously, it's one of those situations that you can never really tell because there might have been multiple reasons why this happened. And right over here, you can see the other component. However, if it was due to losing out on a piece of the action, eBay had little to lose taking this action, meaning you were going to tell the entire eBay community the truth. You knew this stuff was going to get spread around, but PWCCs can't really clap back much. They're going to move to their own site, sure, but we've already got them covered for that and have gained some retribution. And on the flip side, good luck trying to prove libel or wrongful practice over well-founded allegations that have been very clearly documented and are publicly available for evidence, not to mention, again, an FBI subpoena that exists for this organization. In the grand scheme of things, PWCC looks a lot worse than eBay does, and even if eBay is being petty and just kind of throwing mud around because they know that they're going to lose out on so much money because PWCC is leaving their platform, it doesn't really mean much because PWCC still looks like the dog in the situation. Next up, the article briefly goes over what shill bidding is. So it's when eBay defines shill bidding as when someone bids on an item to artificially increase its price, desirability, or search standing. So The company goes on to explain that it can happen regardless of whether or not the buyer knows the seller. However, when someone's bidding on an item and knows the seller, they may have information about the seller's item that other shoppers aren't aware of, which could therefore create an unfair advantage or cause another buyer to pay more than they should. We want to maintain a fair marketplace for all, and as such, shill bidding is prohibited on eBay. Now, let's just go through a very quick example. Let's just say you, the humble viewer, posts this Rayquaza PSA 10 Gold Star up on eBay. Then Alina Lopez, my good friend and former solar panel tech, goes ahead and bids $35,000 on it. Well, if I'm attempting to shill bid, I may then go ahead and try to bid $40,000. Now, at this point, Alina has one of two options. Mind you, you and I know each other, but Alina doesn't know any of this. Alina may bid $45,000, but we all know that that's not actually the price of that Rayquaza anymore. That price has since dipped down. However, if Alina bids that $45,000, I get away with it because my shill bid is never going to be paid because Alina is the winning bidder, and you make $10,000 more than you would have if I did not shill bid your auction up from $35,000 to $45,000. If I didn't shill bid Alina's bid of $35,000 up to $40,000, which thereby caused her to increase her own bid to $45,000. Now, let's just say Alina says, nope, I'm out, my new career isn't paying as much as it should, and it is what it is. Well, that's fine, because as a shill bidder, either I have no intention of paying, or I pay and then find a reason to return it in a few couple of days, and because you and I know each other, that might help. If we don't know each other, who cares? I'll just say it's not as described and send it back anyway. And then maybe there's a situation where I might be using a ghost account. So I might, go on eBay, buy like 10 random things for the house. So I get, 8 or 9 feedback. And then this way I don't look like a brand new buyer. And then I basically just go bid. And if bad things happen, I just delete that account and roll on to the next one. So that's how shill bidding works. That's a practical example of how me and everyone's favorite solar panel tech goes ahead and plays one of these things out and hopefully gets you more money. Now, obviously, this isn't an okay practice. This is a terrible practice and it needs to be eradicated. The problem is that it's a lot easier said than done. And obviously, the article goes on to make that point as well. It would undermine the belief in the fairness of auctions and harm eBay's brand as well. If Pwcc is knowingly and willingly let this play out, obviously it's no bueno, because then eBay looks like a jerk, Pwcc looks like a jerk, and at this point, even breaking this news of saying, hey, we're banning Pwcc may bring this to light as well. A lot of people may start saying, well, this has been happening for years now, babe, not just a couple of months, and not just on Pwcc's watch. You knew about it and you were okay with it as long as Pwcc wasn't on their own platform. So, the long-standing allegations are the next section, and basically this is what I was mentioning earlier about the blowout forums. So the good folks at blowout forums are very highly alert to scams. Trust me, these guys and gals are good. They know exactly what they're doing. They might as well be forensic accountants for all I care. But for the past 5 years or so, they've been tracking Pwcc shill bidding all the way down, and there have been multiple times where various people have been caught shill bidding. Excellent documentation exists, and all types of conversations have been had, and even, for once, Cardlines actually mentions the Pokemon community itself. But even then, you have a whole bunch of conversations in mid to late 2020 about shill bidding occurring on Elite Forum, which is a Pokemon forum only. So, all things considered, you have tons of different chatter about this stuff, and this is what was mentioned earlier in the article and what I've been talking about. All of these very well documented cases on forums are just more sort of gasoline that adds onto the fire that's currently burning right now, with eBay turning around and saying, you're gone, you shill bid too much. Next up is the super brief conversation about what Pwcc did in response to this stuff. They went ahead and made their bidding information private, which inevitably made everything less transparent than it was already. And then the other major issue is that they were already under scrutiny from the FBI and under investigation and working with a subpoena. Again, that was covered in a separate video, so if you want, go check that out. But all these things to say, PWCC basically just closes ranks, closes doors, goes behind closed doors, and says, yeah, deal with it. So, what happens now with the PWCC shill bidding auction? Well, it's community knowledge that they've been shill bidding, and although they're off eBay according to that internal memo / email / whatever you want to call it, there's still about 17,879 items on eBay listed on that platform as of now. Obviously, the assumption is that number will decrease slowly. And then, you know, one now has to start looking at the bottom line as well as the takeaway from this scandal. So that's what this bottom section down here really tries to do. And I think they said it right in this first sentence. There are no innocents in this scandal. If eBay didn't directly get involved in it, they certainly knew about it for years now. The only difference is that they were willing to turn a blind eye because they were still making a lot of money for eBay based on those shill bidding auctions. And then PWCC has been involved in way too many shady dealings, and that's not good for anybody in this hobby. I think any major auction house grader, you know, someone who maintains a high level of integrity is absolutely necessary when it comes to that type of role. You know, this isn't just some random collector who is a crappy person on the weekends and then still collects cards because it's a hobby of his. This is one of the largest auction houses in the world who brings premier auctions to the world. And if you're going to tell me that not only are they willing to shill bid their own auctions for the benefit of themselves and for their sellers, and get subpoenaed by the FBI regarding card trimming scandals, it's not a good look. Then the other thing is that their move away from eBay at this time renders them vulnerable. Now they have to follow them to an independent platform actively, meaning we have to leave eBay or download the PWCC app or whatever it is. And this time, you know, they'll have no excuse. Hopefully there's a lot more advocacy around this time than last time, and hopefully my cold open in today's video calls attention to that. A lot of people are talking about this now, and I do think now is the time where PWCC may face a high amount of scrutiny and a high amount of accountability for the things they've done in the past, as well as the shady dealings they've had in the past. Now, I'm not going to go as far as to say boycott, but certainly card lines will. The best thing we can do as collectors is boycott PWCC. Kill their vault, kill their auctions, ignore their stuff, because they are otherwise simply aiding and abetting an allegedly fraudulent activity. Now, to briefly sprinkle on my own commentary on this stuff, it's an interesting time to be in the hobby because these guys move cards. Like, if you go and look up any of the record-breaking sales from 2020, many of them were PWCC cards, which now that I think about it, calls into question the price and integrity of those cards. The good news is that shill bidding kind of is easy to spot if you're looking in the right places. Normally you'll see someone with very low feedback bid very high towards the very end of the auction, etc., but it's not always that easy. And sometimes it's a lot harder to stop this stuff than it is to just speak about stopping it. So again, when PWCC moves to their own independent site, I'm curious to see how well they do, and I'm curious to see how eBay reacts. There are other major auction houses like Pwcc that run on eBay still, and so it's not uncommon to think that they too may be in a situation where they will fall under the same scrutiny next. So I'm interested to see how things go, but honestly right now I'm not too pressed. The market is on a general decline and stagnation phase, so it's one of those things where no record-breaking auction is still taking place, at least on a macro scale, that is going to be shaken to the core because of this news. For the most part, auctions that broke records happened well in the past, and although we may want to call into account their credibility, I'm sure some good old-fashioned investigation into the bidding practices of all of the individuals who bid may be able to reinforce the integrity of the final sale price, or may, at the end of the day, call up in question some of the final auction prices. But either way, we'll just have to wait and see if and when those individuals, or if eBay as an organization, releases some sort of post-mortem on this that sort of documents and outlines all of those different less than credible sales. So, those are my own 2 thoughts. But with all that said, friends, thanks again for checking out another video. If you learned anything new today about shill bidding, Pwcc, the FBI, or Alina Lopez, feel free to leave a like on the video. And if you're not already, feel free to join the Gengar gang by hitting that big old subscribe button down below to join our happy little community. It's, like I said, friends, it's an interesting time. I'm super excited to see how this plays out, because this is just a hot mess in the best possible way. But otherwise, friends, thanks again for watching. I appreciate your viewership. As always, you could have been anywhere on the internet, but you chose to spend some time with me, and that means the world. Thanks again, friends. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be down below in the comments. And other than that, I hope you all are having an amazing Thursday, and we will talk soon. Peace.